you don't really need to do that. I mean, if you like to do that, you can do that. I'm not telling you what to do. Okay. Now I'm all discombobulated. Pouring foundation all over your face, you're applying concealer 5 shades too light, you're putting contour. It's just like, why you need all that? Freaking dog will not leave me alone. Hercules. Get down. Go away. My hair grew so much this year. It's honestly crazy. I think this side has more volume than this side, but it's fine. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Nyla here, and I'm super excited to finally be making this video. This has probably been one of my most requested videos ever, and also something that people ask me all the time. And if my hair is looking crazy, y'all, I'm sorry. It's just growing so much. Like, I'm so proud of my growth. But anyways, so today's video is basically going to be about my flawless base routine. I feel like over the years I have really mastered how to get my foundation to look flawless and also be really lightweight. I'm not a cakey kind of girl. I like my makeup to be comfortable, or else I don't want to wear it, okay? So today's video is not really gonna be like a get ready with me. It's gonna be more of a talk through like details, tips and tricks that I have learned over the years doing my makeup, and I'm gonna share that with you. So if you're interested in learning how I get a flawless base, then definitely make sure that you keep watching. Subscribe to my channel if you like videos like this, and also give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about what I'm about to do, what I'm about to show y'all. So I have a few things to say before we start. So number one is, whenever you are doing your makeup, really bomb makeup, even if you don't have the best quality makeup, the best quality brushes, the best quality foundation, whatever, if you have beautiful clear skin, then your makeup is gonna look good no matter what. So I understand, you know, some people have acne prone skin, some people have just naturally textured skin, etc. But what you really can do is make sure you cleanse, you moisturize, and you apply your SPF. Those are the most important things. And also, one thing that I like to do when I know that I'm gonna like beat my face or whatever is I like to exfoliate. You can use a chemical exfoliant, you can use a physical exfoliant. I use a combination of both, but I made sure that I did that before this. So especially if you have dry skin, you wanna make sure that you exfoliate to get off any dry skin flakes, or, you know, even your texture a little bit more. And you also wanna apply moisturizer so that your skin can be ready to receive what you about to do, girl. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is apply some lip balm. This is the e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm. Y'all, my nails. This is the e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm. I'm just gonna apply a little bit of this, and just basically so that my lips aren't dry for later. I'm not applying any lipstick, but it's always a good idea to moisturize all aspects before you begin. I also did my eyebrows off camera just because I wanted to kind of get them out of the way. They don't really have much to do with the base, but I do want to say it's so much easier. And it doesn't really matter if you do it before or after your foundation. I do both ways, but I mostly do my brows first just to get them out the way. But I will say, if you look closely, you can kind of tell that I did also clean up around my brows, and you could tell that it's like very similar skin tone to what my foundation would be. You can use your foundation to carve out your brows, and you can also use a concealer that's closer to your skin tone versus something that is not your skin tone, and then you have to spend so much more time like blending it out, trying to figure out how to get it to look right. Let me go wash my hands. The next step is primer. Primer is really important depending on your skin type. Today we're going to be basically using a lot of my most used and most favorite products. So yeah, luckily I don't have that many makeup videos, so this isn't going to be redundant for y'all, but the more I do, the more y'all gonna see that I love these products, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to apply, so I have dry combination normal skin. So my skin is generally just normal. It's not super dry, but it's not super oily. I kind of have a good moisture balance in my skin to where I can get away with using a matte foundation. I can use a dewy foundation. I can use a tinted moisturizer, whatever. But if you have super oily skin, you might want to go for a more mattifying primer. If you have more normal skin, you can go matte if you want. If you like a more matte look, you can do a combination of both. You could do a blurring primer. It's really up to you what your skin needs. For me, since I have normal to dry combination skin, I like to use a moisturizing primer. I love my moisture, okay? So I like to use a moisturizing primer and another type of primer. So the moisturizing primer I'm gonna use is this Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Grip Primer. It's kind of dirty because it's been in my makeup bag, but basically I really love this primer because if you like the Milk makeup, if you're interested in trying the Milk makeup primer and you don't want to spend the money, this is literally the same exact thing. Like, this is literally the same thing. And y'all, I love Juicy Jazz videos, and she always talks about got put onto this, and I'm like, I don't even need to buy the full size of the Milk because this does the same exact thing. I'm just applying a little bit. You really don't need a lot, but I really like this because it's hydrating, but it gives me a little bit of like a tacky base to apply my makeup. So I'm just gonna blend that out. So primer is a very important step depending on which primer you use. I do think primer does make a difference. I didn't used to use primer all the time, but I like hydrating primers. So I'm just gonna apply this. Can't really see because I'm using the mirror that I normally would use for, you can see how it's kind of has a little bit of a tacky texture to it. It has kind of a sticky texture. It's not like uncomfortably sticky, but it just has a little bit of that tack that really helps your makeup stick. Another one of my favorite primers, and you can see some of the makeup is gonna be a little beat up because I really do use these products all the time, every day, or whenever I wear makeup. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is just the regular one that they have, the first one they came out with. Girl, I be using this. Just flip you off. I'm just gonna apply. I kind of put on too much, but I really love this primer because it's kind of like a blurring, pore filling primer, but it's not dry or silicone-y or like, I don't know. It just looks really good. So So I do want to talk about primer real quick. Primer is, I know some people say that, you know, oh, primer doesn't do anything. I personally think it does. I feel like my makeup lasts so much longer when I have on a good primer, i.e. these two primers. But I also feel like if you have dry skin, you know, even though you should have moisturized and applied SPF, sometimes your skin is still a little dry and you need a little bit of a boost right before you do your makeup, because not everybody washes their face and moisturizes right before they sit down to do their makeup. So sometimes, you know, in that case, you might want a hydrating primer. If you have really textured skin, you might like a pore filling primer. If you have really oily skin, you might want to go for a mattifying primer. I sometimes use rosehip oil before I put on my primer too, because I have more normal to combination skin, like normal dry combination. So I'm mostly normal all throughout the year. Summertime, I get a little more greasy. But I also have dry flaky skin like around my mouth. So that's why I like to really make sure I moisturize right before I do my makeup and I apply a hydrating primer. Next step that I do, which I really like doing this, I feel like my makeup comes out a lot more flawless, but I like to conceal first and then apply my foundation. Sometimes I'll conceal and contour first and then put my foundation on top, but I'm trying a new foundation today, so we're not gonna do that. But what I am gonna do is apply some concealer real quick. For concealer, I like to make sure that I pick something that is brightening, but not too bright to where it's gonna make it difficult to blend. You wanna make your life easier. Why are you pouring foundation all over your face? You're applying concealer 5 shades too light. You're putting contour. Why? So I like to go light-handed with my products and in my shade range. So that way I don't have to work as hard trying to get it blended out and get it to match and get it to do all this stuff. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in Deep Chestnut. I really, really like this concealer. It's long-lasting. And it just does a really good job. And I like it under my foundation as well. And this is also what I use to carve out my brows. And you'll see that it's kind of brightening. And I'm just really putting it like right here. It's kind of brightening, but it's not so bright that it's gonna be difficult for me to blend in with the rest of my makeup. You know what I mean? So. You see how little product I'm applying? I didn't go dipping. I didn't go applying all over here, just drawing. I just really want, like I said, make my life smarter, not harder. So I just apply a little bit at first. If I need to add some more, then I can add some more. If I don't, then I don't even have to worry about it. So I'm gonna blend. This is the Eco Tools foundation brush. I really, really love this brush for concealer. I blend out the outer edges first and make sure I really like put it onto my skin. Put it onto my skin. You know what I mean? Like I really make sure to just like melt everything. Y'all, my neighborhood is so loud. The dogs are barking, there's gunshots, there's music blasting. I'm like, can you just... I can't wait to move, guys. Oh my gosh. I feel like every video I'm in a different spot. But it's really just because like I don't have anywhere where I really, really like to film. But as soon as we move, we're gonna get it popping. I feel like I like doing a lot more with a brush. I used to use sponges all the time, and I am gonna use a sponge, but I feel like brushes really give you a little bit more control. But I am gonna use a sponge, speaking of that. This is the e.l.f. Total Space Sponge. Space Sponge is what I said, if you didn't hear that. But I'm just gonna go over and blend just a little bit. I like to use a brush first and then blend with the sponge because I feel like the brush really just gets the product in there, and then the sponge just kind of gets any excess product off, and it just helps it be a little more seamless. So I do that. Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk, ladies. I have 3 options, okay? So what I have been using really a large portion of this year. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Tinted Moisturizer. I freaking love this. This has been like, I have so much of it left too. This is also in the color Deep Dark 21W. This is such a perfect match for me. This is really, really lightweight. I would say if you don't have as many blemishes and stuff to cover, this is a really good option because it's lightweight, but it provides enough coverage where it's like, you notice your skin is even, but it's not so much coverage where you look cakey or dry. So I've been rocking with this, okay? But I did recently get 2 new foundations. I got the Hailey's Beauty. This is the Hailey's Beauty Liquid Luxe Reform Foundation. And then they accidentally sent me the matte foundation as well. And I have tried the matte one. They sent me this one first, and then I was like, hey, that's not what I ordered. So they sent me just another one. So I have tried this. I do like it. It's not too matte to where I feel dry, because like I said, I have normal to dry skin. But it looked really good. But I really want to try the Liquid Luxe foundation, so. Or should I go with the basics? Let's just go with this. Because I feel like more people would be, you know, leaning towards like a full coverage vibe. I keep looking over there. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like more people would be willing to try this versus this, because this doesn't really have a lot of coverage, and I know a lot of people like more coverage. So let's try this. This is in the color 725, and I think this will be a good match for me. So for Nyla, okay, I only use like 1 pump of foundation. I'm not one of those people that, you know, goes and pumps on their face and puts 2. When I see makeup tutorials and the girls are like, oh, I put 2 to 3 pumps, I'm like, what? That's a lot of makeup to me. Like 3 pumps, I've never put 3 pumps of foundation on my face ever. And I don't feel like I need to. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of product. And that also is a lot more product that you have to blend all over the place. I don't like to blend makeup all down my chest, my neck, my shoulders. I don't like doing all that. I like it to just be on my face and a little bit on my neck. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. I think this is gonna be a really good color for me too. So I'm just applying. I'm not really going too crazy, but I'm just applying, you know, 1 pump of foundation. And since I do have eczema around my mouth, this part of my mouth gets really, really dry and flaky if I put makeup on top. So I really don't. I'll put like, you know, I'll blend maybe a little over it, but I notice when I put foundation on top of it, it kind of emphasizes the texture there. So if you see any of my photos and stuff and you can kind of tell like it's a little discolored around here, that's why. It's because I don't cover it with makeup, because it just makes it look worse. So I'm just gonna blend this out with my damp sponge. And I blend kind of over the concealer. You can see I'm kind of like, you know, applying over the concealer. And it's not really to cover the concealer up. It's just to make sure that everything is just blended all together, really. Girl, and blend it out. I also love this sponge because it has a flat edge, so like around my brows I can kind of turn it this way and like get in there. Yeah, get in there. Yeah, get in there. I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty matchstix in the color espresso. I really like this product. It blends easily. It has kind of like a powder, like a cream to powder finish. So it doesn't stay really greasy on my face, but it blends very easily. So I just apply it on the side of my cheek. And I'm more of a bronzer kind of girl, so that's why I have a more of a warm color. And then I apply along my chin because I do have a fat chin. And I like to diminish that. It's a different brush. This is the e.l.f. Just blend that. I try not to go too far down on my forehead because I do have a small forehead. If you have a big forehead, you might want to go a little lower. If you have a small forehead like me, then you might want to go a little higher. You know what I mean? I notice a lot of, especially Instagram makeup artists or makeup artists who advertise on Instagram, and no shade to them because the makeup comes out looking really flawless and beautiful. But for me, a lot of makeup that you see on YouTube and Instagram, every face kind of ends up looking the same. Y'all, I don't know why my camera is, I record on my phone and for some reason my camera just will not act. I was supposed to act. So my camera cut off in the middle of me bronzing. The next thing that I do is do a little bit more of a highlighting concealer. So the first concealer that I use, the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, this is more of like It's a really good, it's brightening, as you can see, you know, compared to the rest of my face, but it's a little too close to my skin tone and I want a little bit more highlight. So I'm gonna go with this Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer. This is in the color Deep. And I really love this concealer. This is one of my favorite concealers of all time. It's super creamy. It has really, really good coverage without being cakey. It gives like really a light illusion without being too bright, and this color is really good for me. So I go for the old Robert Welsh trick. I apply a little bit right here and a little bit right here. A little bit, you know. Go ahead and use my sponge, and while I blend this out, I want to complete the thought that I was saying, which is I feel like a lot of people do the same makeup for everybody. They apply the same techniques, they, you know, and apply so much product. And I know part of, you know, being on Instagram and doing your makeup on Instagram and stuff is really like clickbait, getting people to see it and be like, ooh, what is she doing, you know? But at the same time, it's like people are getting a little bit more, I feel, into showing real makeup, how real makeup looks on real skin, like, you know. I just want to say, whenever you see those videos, just take in a grain of salt that that makeup most likely is not going to look that great in person, or it's going to look really, really cakey and heavy. And this is how I'm able to get my skin to just look really smooth without doing the most, you know what I mean? All of that is blended out. We're gonna go on to some liquid blush. I used to not be a blush girl, but I think blush, especially, I mean, for all skin tones, but I feel like especially for brown girls, it just really takes your look to the next level. So my favorite blush that I've been using is this Rare Beauty blush in Love. This is the liquid blush and has a little applicator or whatever. This is really pigmented. I highly recommend this because it's very, I just do literally like 1 or 2 dots on each cheek. I'm gonna blend it out with one of my favorite brushes for blush. This is the Morphe M427. This is like a dual fiber brush. But I feel like blush is really important because it just brings life to this face and it just gives you a little bit of a and I used to be one of those girls that was like, I'm never gonna wear blush. Blush is just way too extra, but like, I apply blush all the time. Even if I have no makeup on, just moisturizer, SPF, whatever, I still like to apply blush. And, you know, whenever I want to do everyday makeup or I just want to look a little bit more like alive, if I just put on mascara, brow gel, a little bit of this blush, I just look so good. So I definitely recommend this product. It's very long lasting. It looks the exact same when I put it on in the morning or, you know, when I first put on my makeup to when I go to wash it off, especially when we do the next trick that I'm gonna show you. Just how my skin just looks so just delicious. Like, I have the highlighted moment. I have like a highlighted moment under my eyes, but it's not too bright. I have that blush, and then I have the bronzy contour to really make me look alive. And then if you want, you can go back with your sponge and just kind of blend where the two products meet. And this will kind of help make sure everything is nice and seamless. So this is my favorite powder. If you have not been paying attention, okay, I love Juicy Jazz videos. She makes bomb videos. I'm thinking of making a video where I use products that I have bought specifically because of her, because so much of my makeup, I'm like, damn, Jazz made me buy this. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I think mine is in the color, yeah, medium. So I really love this powder because, I forgot to close the cap last time. But I really like this powder because it really sets your makeup well, makes it long lasting. It's kind of mattifying, but it has a very healthy glow aspect to it, which I freaking love. This makes my skin look so good. It sets it because, like I said, I have normal dry skin, so I don't really need to like bake or do anything crazy, but I also want my concealer to stay in place and not look dry, and this is amazing. I freaking love it. Real Techniques setting brush. It's kind of just like a little fluffy, brush, okay? On the lid, I'm literally just taking a little bit. Like, I'm not going deep in there. If you have more oily skin, you probably need a little bit more powder, but since I have pretty normal skin, I don't use a lot of powder because it makes me look really dry. So what I'm gonna do real quick is blend that concealer real quick, just with some creases, since I've been talking, and then I just go and I set it with this powder. And it also doesn't change the color of, you know, the makeup that I have already put on, or make it darker or lighter or anything like that. It's just a really good powder. And they have a deeper color. They have a lighter color and they have a deeper color. Powder that I'm gonna apply, which I don't do this all the time, but I feel like I really like this powder, so I'm gonna mention it. This is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Powder Foundation, or pressed powder. Clean Fresh pressed powder in the color Deep. And I really love this powder because it sets my makeup without being heavy and cakey, and it also doesn't give me that dry look. And then I use my Real Techniques blush brush, which I like to use for powder, and I don't put a lot on there. I just do a little bit, tap it off, even though it doesn't really have any kickback, and then I just apply the rest of my face. And like I said, I don't do this every day, but I kind of want to show y'all like the full Monty, and then I kind of adjust it based on, you know, how I'm feeling. If I know it's like summertime, or if I really want to be set, then I'll apply this. Or I also use this by itself. If I put on the e.l.f. Camel Concealer, a little bit of this powder, and some blush, I look beat. Next, one of my favorite parts, blush, okay? I bought a couple options. Blush is so important to me. I feel like it really brings life, color, and vibrancy to your skin and your face, especially if you choose colors that kind of coordinate with like your undertones or coordinate with your eyeshadow that you're gonna wear. Bomb. And it's also, I love for a monochromatic, whoop, almost dropped my mirror. I also love blush for a monochromatic look. So if you just take a little blush, put it on your eyes, put the same blush on your cheeks, and then do a cute gloss, you're set. You're set. This is the Juvia's Place Bella blush in the color, oh, I think this is just Bella. This is like a hot, this is very close actually to the color of the liquid blush that I put on. They almost look the exact same, honestly. So I could do this. I could also use my favorite, I've been using this for years. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in the color Peachy Love. Maybe I should open it. In the color Peachy Love. I love these blushes. I love blending all together, but I love this color the most. I also really love mixing these two. This is a little bit more like a shimmery, like orange. So I honestly probably gonna use this because I love this one the most. But I also have this little mini NARS Orgasm, which I rarely ever use. But y'all can see my tones that I like to stick with. I like to stick with corally, peachy blushes because I feel like they really complement my skin well. So I'm gonna go in with my fave. I'm just gonna mix them up. I mostly use these two. And I pick up kind of a lot because I love this stuff. Okay, so just gonna apply. And as you can see, I kind of apply my since I have a very round meatball face, I like to apply my blush mostly back here and then kind of blend up into my cheeks and then along my nose. And I feel like that just gives me like a really cute, like youthful look, but it also kind of like emphasizes, or just kind of, you know, helps my face not look so round. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking from front, you can kind of see how I emphasize the tops of my cheeks more so than like the apple of my cheeks. And sometimes whatever's left on my brush, I'll kind of just dust it up here a bit. You don't have to do that, especially if your blush is really, really pigmented. That might not be a good idea. Next, I'm gonna do something really, really quick with my eyes, and then we'll move on to the next thing. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm gonna use my Born to Run palette. I'm probably gonna use Riff. I'll probably use Riff and some inner corner highlight, I don't know. But like I said, I'm just keeping this part really simple just because this is not about my eyes, this is about my face. So probably that Juicy Jazz made me buy. So I'm gonna finish off the eyes really quick. I'm gonna put some lashes on and then I'll be back and we can finish off. Alrighty, so we're back. I put on some lashes. I think we're a little more zoomed in than the first time, but it's okay because I want you to see this again. Okay, so I did apply some lashes. Next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is apply some highlight. So where's the highlight? It's a lot of different highlights. Honestly, I feel like a lot of them are pretty much the same. I mean, Ophir ones are really, really good. I really like Wet n Wild. I have the really old Bretman Rock and Morphe highlight palette. Love that palette. There's just a lot of really good highlighters out there. I feel like all of my highlights look pretty much good or the same. So the one I'm going to be using today is the Colourpop Super Shock highlighter in the color Parasol. And the skin, so good. And these are a little bit more on the glittery side, which for me, I kind of like. I feel like it just gives me a little extra pop. Especially because I don't really wear a lot of eyeshadow, so my skin is really the focus. I'm actually gonna do, because this is not giving me, I want a little more gold. So I'm just gonna use my eyeshadow palette and use one of these colors. I'm getting tired, y'all. Even though I have naturally full lips, I still overline my lip. Not overline, but when I put my lip liner on, I put it like on my lip line versus inside of my lip line. The last steps is basically to apply setting spray, which is basically gonna set your makeup. It's gonna dissolve a little bit of that powdery look, and that's it. So my favorite is the NYX Bear With Me setting spray. I've been using this for a really long time, but I also use the Milano Make It Last. Sometimes I use both. So I'm just gonna go ahead, shake this up and apply. Try not to get it too much in my hair.
Especially in my highlight zones, I really make sure to apply a little bit more. Face dry a little bit before. Now this part is like sticking out.
So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Definitely make sure that you subscribe if you love content like this, and if you have any other makeup, skincare, hair care related videos that you would love to see, then definitely make sure you leave me a comment, like this video so that I know that you like this video, and share it with somebody. Share it with somebody who needs a little refresher. Please make sure to